we're gonna go live with Badoo. That's not it at all. That's me talking to Sal. That's not good. Didn't plan that out properly. Hold on.
Good job, buddy.
I'm just showing the chats and everything.
You're on goof, bro.
Amazing.
Huh?
What?
Hold on. I didn't plan properly. Need to adjust that.
Whoop.
I had all my
Show my
chats
metrics.
open because I just realized. Oh, you know what? You know what? I'm gonna cheat.
Okay.
Well, no, because
Yeah.
the plug script that I had, I pulled it up, but it's in our chat. So, like, then everyone's just looking at us talk.
Yeah.
Because I'm hosting the thing.
Yeah.
It's a good thing there was nothing in
They
the-
noticed your hair
Yeah, it's good.
immediately.
It's a good thing we weren't like, but you know, behind the scenes, I was like, "Fuck everyone in the chat."
Yeah. Yeah, we were all. You thought we were all muted.
All right, guys. Let me get.
Yeah, because right before every show, we always talk about how much we hate the chat. And all
always
of
a
our
good thing to do.
audiences, we're just like, okay, here's what sucks.
God, I don't even know if I want to do this video on Danny
All right.
Rand anymore.
Shh, don't do Danny Rand. Fuck it. I've got enough Iron Fist love. I'll take him.
Yeah.
I have enough love for Iron Fist to give to everyone.
Yeah.
And guys, welcome to the Weekly Pull. Today's The Weekly Pull is brought to you by Comic Pop's Back Issues. You want to learn the story behind your favorite comics? Then watch Sal explain those stories to two comic noobs. The questions you've always asked, the questions you've always wondered get asked and shot down by a true comic book fan. Check them out at youtube.com / it's not Comicbot, youtube.com / TV Little House. And don't forget, guys, today's episode is also brought to you by Geek Fuel. If you want to get yourself a wonderful box of geeky goodness, from comic books to figurines to all kinds of wonderful stuff, then go check out Geek Fuel and use the promo code CAPEDJOEL. All right, guys, those are our sponsors for today. We're doing that now. You're on board for this. We're getting more professional because we are the Weekly Pull. And today you've got the original Fab Four. We are fabulous. I'm Benny the Comic Historian. That is Sal from Comic Pop. That is Rob from Comics Explained. And that is Faust from Fabulous Super Effective.
I just want to go on record and say that, like, that
Woo!
just happened. Like, oh my god.
All right, so yeah, guys, we're kind of shaping up. We're trying to get a better format. We have a new website on the line for you guys. We have a new community being built up for you guys. We have a whole bunch of awesome secret projects going on. So we just want to remind you about them all. So don't forget to check out our sponsor of today, which is Sal. I know we charged him an arm and a leg to get that plug spot.
It was really bad. I mean, it was, you promised a friend rate, and then like, boy, with friends like these, you know what? It's worth it.
All right, guys. Today we're going to be talking about the Batman vs. Superman trailer. Then we're going to be talking about the all-new, all-different Marvel releases from last week. And lastly, we will be talking about Jessica Jones, and I will put my fingers in my ears and go la 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 because I still haven't watched it because I was stuck in San Francisco forever. By the way, I'm just going to put this out there. Every stereotype you could possibly think about San Francisco is 100% accurate.
I lived there. I lived there for 6 months. I know.
Everything, every stereotype is 100% accurate about that city.
I legitimately, I've never been to San Fran. I've been to LA, which is also accurate. Like, it's incredibly exactly what you expect. A little bit colder. And yeah, never been to San Francisco.
And I'm telling you right now, first night we were there, so I was down there for the PlayStation Expo, right? So I got a hotel that was within 10-minute walking distance, not realizing the hotel I got was at the top of the hill and the expo's at the bottom of the hill. So first day we walk down there, and at the bottom they have the trolley, and the trolley can get you all the way up to the top. But Zodical, my wife, she's like, no, let's just walk it, whatever. Like, we're in shape. Let's go ahead and do it.
We're in shape. Love it.
We got like halfway up that hill, and that was the worst idea we've ever had.
This sucks.
See,
I mean, like, it looked steep in all those openings to Full House. I have to
Oh,
assume.
damn it, Sal. You stole
And for those of you
my
guys asking,
show.
no, I did not have cell service or Netflix. First off, I was at that stupid convention for like 10 hours a day. So by the time you get back, I'm just trying to catch up with the comic books that I got to get you videos for. Never mind the fact trying to watch Jessica Jones. And I finally caught up on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and everything. So
Nice.
the moment we stopped doing the reviews on the TV channel, I fell so out of the loop.
Yeah, like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is coming along pretty solid, I think. Like, I'm pretty happy
Yeah,
with what
I
they're doing
can't wait
so
for this
far.
episode. Airs
Yeah.
tonight.
Yeah, I'm pretty interested. Like, I'm Man, I want to know.
Is this
who
the
that
mid-season
dude
for that one? Because I know this is the
Yeah,
mid-season for
it's
Flash.
the winter finale. They're making up fake finales for everything now, but yeah,
Yeah.
it's the winter finale for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
See, I tried giving Interns of Shield another chance, but I still say it's Interns of Shield. It's Interns of Shield. It's not agents.
Interns
They're
of
not
S.H.I.E.L.D.
agents.
Well, they don't really do much in terms of
They're
agents.
the wannabe secret warriors of Shield.
Yes, if they were agents, they would go to Hell's Kitchen and meet these cool characters that I really, really want them to cross over with.
Well, let's do our first tangent then, because that actually is a great lead-in. Has anyone read that the Defenders will probably not show up in the Avengers?
Yeah, that kind of sucks
yeah.
to me. That's
It
Kinda
kinda-
blows.
kind of sucks to me, but it makes sense tonality wise. Like, because could you imagine Jessica Jones, which had a lot of
Easy.
swearing in it, and it had a lot of sex in it, turning up in a family-ish friendly Avengers movie?
I mean, we did. We saw like what happens to Jessica Jones when she joins the Avengers, and she just fades into the background and has a baby nice and quietly,
Yeah.
and silently complains about everyone else. Like, that's really all she can do. And it I would love to see that interaction. I want to see Jessica Jones like look at Tony Stark and be like, "So you have a really small penis, right? That's your problem,"
And then
and just completely destroy him. Like, it would just be amazing.
yeah, because she would walk through and sort of go, tiny penis, daddy issues.
Yep. Yeah, she's like, "Wow, way to really diversify. We've got one female on the team, and how many powers do you have? Oh yeah, big fat 0. Killer."
And
I do want to comment real quick before we move on, because you guys are doing great with this, but everyone loves your beard, Rob. Your beard is on point today, they're saying.
It is,
my
and it's
beard
not
is
even November
Jesus.
anymore.
Yeah, like, my beard is so Jesus, it's not even funny.
he filled in his beard with like some eyeshadow.
Yeah, like I took the whole like 1990s Monday Night Wars Hulk Hogan WCW thing and just like penciled my beard in.
Actually, I would love to see Jessica Jones interact with Scarlet Witch, and then those two just get angry at each other. Like, what would
Yeah.
happen?
The whole point of what they're saying with this is because some people, and whatever Armin said, it doesn't even matter, because that was literally in the articles where it's not 100% that the Defenders won't be in the Avengers. What they're stating is that working with the TV company is like working with Sony or working with Fox. It's all, they've gotten so big at this point that they're almost separate elements, and you have to work with different elements, and it's just a pain in the butt. That's what's being stated. They haven't thrown it out that the Defenders might show up. They're just like, it's such a pain in the ass. Let's not count on that.
Right.
And
They're
I
not
think-
planning on it.
And
Not
I
yet.
think because it's the Marvel Cinematic Universe, not the Marvel Cinematic
And TV.
country.
Exactly.
Like it's like there are going to be more than one issues going on at a time. So yeah, they could be off, the Defenders are probably off doing their own thing while the Avengers are doing something else. It's like
Exactly.
the Avengers have no idea what happened in Guardians of the Galaxy because it was so far away, because it's a universe.
Yeah, but the
it's
whole
true. Like,
idea
well,
was to make it cohesive.
Yeah, I want that.
Well, I
I
mean,
want
a
them
great
to be-
example of that, I totally lost my train of thought of that. Oh, no, my great example of that is what's happening in Civil War. To remove Hulk and Thor from the equation, they have another event happening at the exact same time.
Right,
Yeah.
which is smart. That's the way to go. But if you're going to do that, by the way, if you're going to do Civil War, you got to pull those other characters in. You got to pull in Daredevil and Luke Cage and Jessica Jones.
At
You can't
least,
do Civil War as-
you have to at least do it like it did in the main book, where it's like they're on this team, that is it. Like when they go in the base, you'll just see them all sitting around like, so what next, Cap? You know?
Yeah. Or they go somewhere else. They're like, I'm not going to deal with that. F that. I'm
Exactly.
leaving. And they go to Canada.
I mean, yeah, at least let Jessica Jones peace out to Canada, be like, you're fucked up. This plan is fucked up. Bye.
Or she just doesn't.
Or
She's
they-
just like, she
Have
just
the
pretends not to
Defenders
shout.
show up and then just have them be like literally you could easily have like even have them have a small divide where like the Defenders show up like, we're with you, Cap. He explains what's going on, and Jessica Jones and Luke Cage are like, all right, we're gonna see you later. And Daredevil's like, well, I'm gonna stay and I'll go behind the scenes and go work over here. And that could take 2 minutes out of the entire movie, and that is it.
It's true.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I don't even expect them to be. I don't expect the Defenders to show up in like Infinity War, but I do expect them to be part of the same freaking universe. So as long as Infinity War is happening, but that's when, let's say that's when Kingpin decides to make his power play for the city, and the Defenders have to deal with that during the Infinity War. I'm totally okay with that being a separate thing.
Yeah.
But
I mean-
as long as it's part of a real universe that's all
I mean-
part of the same place.
They could
Yeah.
even do like a special episode of Jessica Jones and Daredevil that's set while Infinity War's going on, and it's just sort of like we can see their perspective of what's going on.
Yeah.
But they did that with
During
Agents
that.
of Shield. Agents of Shield has never shown up in like during the Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, we were a part of that. Cap never saw us, but we were. A
No.
part of that.
Oh, they were part of the evacuation plan of Sokovia,
Yeah.
and we didn't see a single one of them.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
I really expected at least Mac to be picking up Sokovians. Nothing.
Maybe the actor was like, no, I'm too good for movies.
I mean, like, the
Oh
only
yeah,
thing I really
I'm
wanna
sure he
see,
was.
If,
like,
if they're all on the same page, what I want to see is because, like, okay, they're making Civil War. When they make Infinity War, they're gonna go to Atlanta. They're gonna tear up that whole city, and they're gonna build these big sets, these big like war areas. When they call lunch, then call up your defenders and have them come in and then shoot an episode or two on the set.
Yeah.
So he's taking place at the same, and then whoever wants to play, like if Chris Evans, like, yeah, I'll
that's
wear
the issue.
my Captain America costume during lunch and hang out with the defenders for a few minutes. Like, let's do that.
But no, that's what they're saying the issue is because they're separate. They're practically separate studios in themselves. So
Oh, yeah.
getting the other one to let them use the set is where the issues are. Like they can't cross them.
Right, but like they still have a few wires crossed as far as like Jeff Loeb could make some poll, could call Feige, and the two of them could work out like some kind of collaborative scheduling thing where it's like, okay, every third Wednesday we're gonna come over and we're gonna use your set or something.
I mean, the intention was when the Marvel Cinematic Universe was created was for them to cross over. So
Yes.
to see that kind of being lost is a little bit sad. And
That was the whole point of Agents and the Netflix shows. Initially, they were supposed to cross over.
Well, that's
It was
why
supposed
I'm
to be
watching them.
Expansive universe.
Yeah.
No, you're right. And that's exactly it. Because if they stop tying in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., well, then now
I'm
Agents
done.
has to stand on its own. And honestly, I don't care about the Inhumans that much because you don't got the ones I like.
I like
You got
Agents of
Quake!
S.H.I.E.L.D. Like, I like Quake, I like Coulson, I like May. I want to see those characters. I love those characters now. You know what? You've tricked me, Joss Whedon, and now I like those characters. But
I don't
if they're not
time
tied, but if they're not
But
tied to Marvel anymore, if they're not tied to like the movies, I don't care anymore. I'm leaving.
Yeah.
So-
I just want Marvel or Fox just to give us some clarity on who the hell owns Medusa, because she was made for Fantastic Four, but she's an Inhuman. So who owns her?
yeah.
Well, it's like Silver Surfer is his own element, but he was made for Fantastic Four, so he's lumped in.
Well,
You
he's
could even argue that Wolverine is his own element at this point, but
Yeah, technically Wolverine appeared in a Hulk book, so technically maybe Universal owns Wolverine.
Just turn all the mutants into Inhumans.
Oh,
Do like
don't
another
do
end
it.
date and
Terrigen
really.
is missed.
see, that
All
would
right,
be,
but
that would
anyway,
be my
here's the
question.
next question
like-
of the day. The
Yes.
next question, and I'll let Rob take point on this because Rob is so intricately knowledgeable about this topic, and he didn't get to say very much about the Netflix things because he was letting you guys hash it out. Rob, how do you feel about the Batman versus Superman trailer?
Oh God. Well, people have been asking me. God, they've been asking me nonstop about that. I'm actually hyped about the movie. The problem is now I know the entire premise of the film from watching the trailer. Like literally, like Bruce Wayne is like, okay, this Superman guy's dangerous because of his battle. He's reckless. He has no concern for life. So I'm going to stop him. Him and Superman are going to fight. And then Doomsday is going to show up because of Lex Luthor. And they're going to band together, insert Wonder Woman into film. And I'm like, okay.
They literally even showed her
that's it.
introduction. Showed her introduction.
And so
She's
I'm
going
like,
to get hit by a beam protecting them, and they're both going to go with a little quip, "Those shoes with you."
Yeah. And I'm like, well, now
Which
I know the
apparently
entire
the
premise
Batman
of your
voice
movie.
is the Batman voice apparently generated by electrodes. Like he's like, brrr, like he sounds like they're zapping his like neck. It's not him baking. It's not him going like, "I'm Batman." It's him being like, I'm Batman." Like he sounds a little bit like Stephen Hawking a little bit.
Sounds like Ned from South Park.
Are you really going to say that this Batman, Ben Fleck, what's it? Yeah, Ben Fleck Batman is Stephen Hawking's. Got it. Cool.
Yeah. By the way, I really, if you had told me like back to during Daredevil that like, hey, Ben Affleck, you will like Ben Affleck as Batman, I'd be like, pfft. But you know what? I kind of dig Ben Affleck as Batman. This is the first like American Batman we've had in like what 20 years. Not bad.
Yeah, no, I don't see him being a bad Batman. It's just like I want to go into the movie
love
not
the
knowing what's going to happen,
you know what?
but like I know what's going to
Like,
happen now. So it's
A
like,
few things I do like. That suit, man. That Batman
Listen, that
suit.
costume looks amazing.
Both
And
of them.
He
Both
looks
the Dark Knight Returns armor and just the Jim Lee suit.
yeah,
Looks great.
The whole thing looks amazing. Now, I do agree with you on that one. And my biggest complaint about this trailer, and we knew it was going to happen, but now it's been confirmed. Doomsday. I feel like the comic book movie companies, and I wanted to get your guys' opinion on this, like they're scared of the burst. We all know it's going to burst. Eventually, we're going to oversaturate, and it's just going to be like, this is a thing we do now. They don't make gajillions, but they do super well, so they're never going to end.
Right.
I feel like both companies are trying to shoehorn in as much big stuff now just to get it out there.
But that's not how it works, though, man. You got to play the long game when it comes to that. You got to play. Yeah. So, all right, so like Civil War is a really good example, and even Batman vs Superman is a good example. Like, I get that this movie is going to set the stage for Justice League. Like, that's going to be the basis of it, and I wouldn't be surprised if the Doomsday that we see now is like the first evolution of Doomsday, and eventually he becomes the Doomsday from the
in the new comics. They have stated that like he evolves now.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if if like this is his first stage, and he's like Cell,
the larva
he like absorbs.
I fought recently.
Yeah, like he absorbs Batman and takes on his second form. I don't know, but like
what really sucks is in that same vein, they're in a DC cinematic in as much as they're in such a they're like, we got to catch up to Avengers 2. Like, we can't even like they're on Avengers 3. We're still making a new Superman movie. We got to put it all into one movie. Batman vs Superman plus Wonder Woman plus Doomsday plus Aquaman plus
Cyborg, Flash cameo.
and it's not enough that like they have to fight each other, right? That's a movie. Batman vs Superman. That's the name of the movie. They're gonna team up and become bros, or as Mr. Sunday called it, they become mates at the end, and they fight then become mates. But like, it's not enough that they fight and then team up to fight a bigger threat. That's like that's a classic comic book trope. They're not even willing to make a Doomsday character. If you could see in the clip, he has the Zod logo on his chest and Bizarro's heat vision or heat breath. They're merging Bizarro and Doomsday into one character.
And here's the kicker: they have not called him Doomsday in that trailer.
No, they will. I mean, like they just.
What we're saying is, we still might not get that name. It might be Bizarro.
No, they'll say it. He'll definitely say Doomsday's coming.
No, I say no. I can see them not saying ever calling him directly Doomsday, but like Lex being like, it's going to be a Doomsday,
or a Daily Planet headline that says Doomsday came.
Yeah.
Or something.
See, somebody called it. Somebody called it. Well, they said Doomsday reaches its perfect form and then hosts a tournament.
Yeah.
The Doomsday games.
The other thing that really,
go ahead. Yeah.
I was gonna say, just after I saw that trailer, I went, oh, that Batman vs Superman script that went out a couple of months ago is real. So I read it, I guess. So
yeah, exactly. What I was gonna say was though, because I mean, with them shoving Doomsday, Lex Luthor, Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, 1,000 other cameos, all of this into one movie, the return of Zod.
Yeah.
All that into one movie it states that they're in a rush, but you can look at the exact same. I mean, because this got me to really look at what happened with Ultron. Because one thing that pissed me off about Ultron was you have this incredible villain who has come back to fight the Avengers multiple times with multiple plans, get shut down in a single movie after doing a couple Disney jokes, and then shot down by Vision.
No, Ultron was too big a villain to shoehorn into the second movie.
Yeah,
just because he's immortal. You can't ever, once you open the Pandora's box of Ultron, you can never ever fit him back in, because he's in the internet, like he's everywhere, like he will come back eventually. You can never be like, well, we defeated him, because it's like, well,
and that's what I'm saying. Why are both these companies? Here's Doomsday. He's gonna be done in this movie. Here's Ultron. He'll be done in this movie.
I think that the difference. I think the reality is it's not even like I wish it were. It's just the enthusiasm of comic book fans, right? Because like if you said to any comic book fan, like you go into a comic book store, hello, I'm the head of Warner Brothers, and who should be the villain? And they'll be, oh, Brainiac, Doomsday, I don't care, all of them. Like they just get so excited. I wish it were enthusiasm, but I think it's just corporate. I don't know what sold the most.
Yeah,
actually, I don't think that's the case at all.
I think Ultron is definitely Joss Whedon being like, I don't know, I didn't read him. What's a cool idea? What's an idea that appeals to me as a quirky pain in the ass? Oh, a sentient AI. That sounds like fun.
Well, like if you actually look at like Joss Whedon, he'd probably more want to adapt series that he's done, like make comics out of. He was probably given Ultron to write into a movie, if I'm honest. Like,
yeah, well, they don't have the X-Men, so they can't adapt Astonishing X-Men.
I was gonna say, doesn't he just want to do X-Men then?
Well, I mean,
X-Men
a benevolent robot or a benevolent, like, I mean, isn't war or danger just Ultron? Like Joss
True.
Whedon's character from the Danger Room that became like the sentient bad guy.
Yeah.
I mean, could you, if Joss Whedon was still involved in Marvel Cinematic, which as I understand he's not anymore. Like I think he's done. I think he's out. Which thank God. But like, I think that, I mean, I think he's like a script puncher now, but he's not.
Yeah, no,
like
he's
a
not.
director.
He's not directing movies. Yeah.
No,
He's like, I'm done.
And he's kind of done tell-alls where he's like, it's been one of the most worst experiences of my life. Working
Yeah.
for Marvel.
Boo-hoo. Shut
Yeah,
up.
Wow.
isn't he like? Didn't he say like one of the bad things was he really wanted to push a Black Widow movie and they wouldn't listen to him?
Right. Well,
That
he wanted to push a Black Widow movie. He wanted to get more character development, and he had to fight for the farm scene. I know that was one of the big things he had to
Which
do.
You need that farm scene because like you need to take a breath. That movie is just nonstop movement,
Oh
and it's
my
like
God,
take a
dude.
minute. Take a breath.
That movie
I
is
like that
so
farm
ADD.
scene.
It's not even funny. But like,
I like
no,
that movie by the way, but I was still like Jesus.
Dude,
Like we need
there's so much, and I'll be honest, like for a film studio that focused so much on character development, I kind of get where they were coming from with it, like, hey, look, like we have all the characters developed, let's just make an
Right.
action movie. There's a difference between saying like we have all the characters developed, let's make an action movie, to we have all the characters developed, let's make an action movie that's like 100 miles an hour and you can barely keep up. Like,
Yeah.
like I had to,
Well,
like,
and
I
it
went to go
sucks.
see the movie. I left. I had to sit at home for an hour to digest what I had
Just
seen
being like,
in order to understand the film. Like, okay, now I get what was going on.
yeah. I mean, it was cool. There were cool moments. It's just I feel like there was too much going on. There's too much stuff, and not enough of those moments that Whedon excels at.
Yeah.
Like we want to see the interactions with those characters. We know those characters now. Let's see them interact. Like he was all about like let's break up the Avengers and make like we made the team that shouldn't exist and now let's put them to the test. You didn't do that. You had them all fight an old German guy in the opening sequence, which couldn't Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. done that? Like couldn't Daredevil have taken out
That was
guy?
the weirdest
I
thing in the
mean,
world. Like,
yeah, come on. Like
end
you
of the
could
world is happening. Let's.
Yeah.
We're not going to assemble the Avengers. You know, Shield's
Yeah.
being overrun. We're not going to assemble the Avengers. The world is being taken over by Dark Elves. Let's not assemble the Avengers. But
Yes.
there's that German guy out in
that
the
old
woods.
German guy in a castle in the middle of nowhere has like 18 Hydra agents, and you better watch out. There's
Can
this
can I also say too, like Ultron wasn't terrible, but I felt like that was such a waste of Baron von Strucker.
Oh my
Like,
God,
dude! I
Well,
loved Baron von Strucker.
And now his
as a-
kid's been a waste.
Yeah, what is up with that? First of all, when I heard they announced like, hey, Baron von Strucker's gonna be in this movie, I was like, really? Like, don't we have enough? We got Claw, we got Ultron. Ultron's enough. You don't need like 19 villains. And then it was like, oh yeah, Baron von Strucker will be in it for like half a second and then die. Like that's a waste. That's a waste of the character. Don't use him.
Yeah, I'd rather see to me, and that's what's so upsetting is.
I
Yeah,
highly
there are
doubt
so
any
many-
comic book fans are like, I'm going to see this movie because of Baron von Strucker.
Nobody was
no,
like,
no,
That is why I'm going.
No, I wouldn't go see a movie because of Baron von Strucker, but Baron von Strucker makes a great background villain. Like the guy pulling the strings, you know. I mean, I could see him dying in a single film, and I could see some film in the future where he dies. But it's like Civil War. All right, Civil War is a cool concept. Civil War is a great idea. Probably the most successful storyline Marvel's ever had in the history of comic books. Like,
Easily.
I would say that's not a one film concept. That is a series of films concept.
Funny thing is, I'm so
No,
glad this one.
I would say Civil War is a TV show concept. It's not a series of films. It's a TV show.
Well, like-
It's too political to
That's
be
a great idea.
film.
Like
Yeah.
that's such a great pitch because can you imagine how ballsy it would have been for Marvel to get all their shit together and then launch the Civil War movie, right? But it only is the beginning, and then it just keeps building and going. Like you could see that they were sowing the seeds back in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. when Gemma was all like, people with powers, men. She's trying to figure out how to like get them out of there, like how to get rid of people's powers. And Mac was all like anti-superhero, and you're like, crap, they're building up to Secret Wars or Civil War in this show. And wouldn't it be cool to see them have their shit together so well that they carry that over into like into an actual like comics event that was in all their Netflix shows and in their ABC show and in their movies and stuff, and then culminate at the end of like or at the beginning of the next movie or something like.
Well, that's why I said.
I don't know if I want to sit through all that, but I would be really impressed with their ability to do it.
I mean, it would make more sense to me to be like a phase, like the next phase after Infinity War is Civil War. Like that would make more sense, and have like an entire phase, because then you could do so much. You could say, well, Tony Stark was the one that cloned, Thor, and gave us like Ragnarok, and he freaks out and like kills, some characters, or kills like Hank Pym. Like, wouldn't that be cool? Like if Thor like freaked out and killed Hank Pym.
My main worry with Civil War is, okay, so Marvel isn't going to kill off any of their main characters because they can't revive them like they're more than happy to do in the comics, because comic book fans are now starting to complain when characters are revived.
Yes.
What's a mainstream audience going to be like? They won't do that. Like,
Well,
They
so,
won't accept it. like
Reviving
we do.
characters isn't necessarily a bad thing. The problem that fans have
No.
with reviving characters is how it's done. Like when it's just
Yeah.
done arbitrarily. Like it'd be, if Wolverine comes back and it ties into the whole thing of X-23 and he comes back as like a mentor, or even the moment when, in all different X-Men, when like she talks to Wolverine, fans dig that because they're like, okay, it's the
Yeah.
passing of the mantle. But if Wolverine came back, the previous 616 Wolverine came back that died, and he's not like, he doesn't like just jump in, and Marvel's just not like, he's now Wolverine, and X-23, screw you, you're out. Fans are pissed about that. But if he
Yeah.
comes back and he's like, no, you're still Wolverine, I'm just going to be a mentor, like,
Right.
fans wouldn't be upset about that.
that's
No,
what
I'd be
I
into it.
love.
Yeah.
I love comics because characters can be revived, and I say like that's the beauty of the medium. Anything can happen, and nothing's off the table. Like anything can happen.
Yeah.
But a mainstream audience ain't gonna get that. They're gonna want to see the movie equation, and a dead character just can't be revived. It's just not done that much. So my main issue is with Civil War is there's not going to be any long-lasting consequences. And from what I've seen, because I don't watch trailers, but it's kind of hard to avoid clips of trailers when you go on Tumblr and Facebook, it's less Civil War and so much as civil fight amongst friends.
Yes. Yeah, it's not a war.
There's even a current rumor going around with some of the leaks that have been happening that Iron Man actually isn't even against Captain America, and the whole thing's like pseudo staged.
That'd be cool. Honestly, it's for me, the fact they're not going to make it a huge event and the fact they are going to wrap it up in one movie, I am 100% okay with that. Because if you distill the
Only
whole
Rob
event,
wants the 5-year movie event fight.
No, I don't want a 5-year movie
I
event.
I literally just pitched
Well, I guess I could.
several at 100 million, like a hundreds of millions dollar, like impossible, long-standing series that involves TVs and movies that they're never gonna do. I just pitched that, but honestly, boiling a comic book event that's like this thick down into a 2-hour movie is a really solid move because you get to keep all the big ideas, but you get to,
Back issues?
but you only use those good ones. You don't like all that's left is the best stuff.
But then it comes down to, if they ain't doing Civil War, why call it Civil War?
Because it sells.
Yeah, well,
yeah, it'll sell.
Okay, but to follow up with your question, if they're not going to do proper Civil War, why did we have a Civil War tie in a Battleworld? Why do we have a Civil War 2 comic coming out in a couple of months?
Oh, because they sell. Because of money. That's it.
Why?
That's
Why are like Civil War? The name alone sells things. So
Oh, dude, you can tell. Like, if you go back and watch the video, that leaked footage where Whedon had where they had their summer event, a couple of years ago, whenever it was, and Whedon announced the new Captain America film. They were like, "Oh, Serpent Society," and fans were like, "Oh yeah, cool, another Captain America
right?
story." And then he was like, "Let's change the name. Let's call it Civil War." The thing fucking exploded. People lost
my
their
God,
minds because it's Civil War. And Civil War is such a
right,
great
well,
story.
we can do hype on that one because we do have to talk about that trailer. But let's close out our discussion on Batman versus Superman because we totally
Right.
the conversation of Batman versus
Totally
Superman
derailed that.
into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. The point I was trying to make, which led to our discussion about Ultron and everything, is do you feel like we're just getting too much of the movies now? Do you feel like they're just trying to get it out there to get it out in a hurry so that it's done before this bubble explodes?
what DC
Because I think we can all agree the Batman versus Superman trailer revealed way too much about that plot.
We are looking at about a deadline. I'm saying 2017. 2017 is the year the bubble is going to explode, and we're going to have a very gradual decline from that point. They're trying to get everything good out before then, and that's why so many trailers are showing people so much, because they want to be like, come and see this movie. We've got Batman and Superman fighting, but then they team up and blah, blah, blah.
Oh yeah, dude,
It's
I agree
almost like what they
100%.
want to do is knowing that eventually this is going to blow up and everyone's not going to watch everything. They're like, oh, you gotta side with us. Look at our heroes. Look at and then like DC's like, we're gonna put everyone into Batman versus Superman, and then Marvel's like, oh yeah, well we're doing Civil War. Here's everyone that even wasn't gonna be in there the first time. And then it's almost like the next year, those two movies, his entire purpose is to show the DC and Marvel lineup, and less to give us a movie.
The only way the bubble is not going to explode is if Marvel get back the X-Men and the Fantastic Four, and that means they're going to have to reshuffle everything, and that means we won't have, like, I think it's 2017, we've got 5 movies coming out in June or July. Like, we won't have that, we'll have, like, 2. That makes it a lot more manageable. Yeah.
No, dude, I can guarantee you right now, like the bubble will burst in 2017, and Marvel will be the ones to do it. And it'll happen because of Infinity War, because the question everybody's been asking is, where do you go next? Like, what do you do?
I was gonna say the bubble
like,
will gonna burst when they keep making Ant-Man movies.
Well, but no, like
Dude, what's wrong with Ant-Man? You can't know.
Ant-Man, but like the next movie, like Ant-Man versus Ant-Man Wasp, we're making another Ant-Man movie. I'm like, whoa, you haven't even
made a Black Widow movie.
You haven't made a Black Widow movie, and it would cost $20 million. I don't understand you.
Here's the problem with that I have with the trailer for Batman vs Superman, and from what I can tell, with regards to the movie, the trailer's not bad. The trailer's not horrible. I enjoyed it.
The trailer is terrible.
I don't think the trailer's terrible. Like, it gets me interested in the film, and I was never not gonna go see it, but to me, as far as I can tell, the problem with that film is going to be this: it is really just too much. A Batman versus Superman movie needs to be Batman versus Superman, and just those two. It doesn't need to have Wonder
so
Woman.
Many stories of that.
Yeah, it doesn't need to have like all these different characters. Save that for the Justice League. I mean, okay, perfect film. Jeff Johns, like Justice League issues 1 through 6. Wrap that up into a single movie. That's all you need, and it'd be a great way to introduce each of the characters individually. But they're doing it all in this movie, and I guess to set the stage for Justice League, which seems to defeat the purpose of a Justice League film. But
I mean, my biggest concern is we can tell the difference between how Marvel are doing their movies and how DC are doing their movies by the quotes that keep circulating around. Marvel's quote that keeps going around at the moment is, "Oh, but he's my friend, but so was I," which gives us an idea of how the tonality of what the characters are going to be thinking in that movie. Whereas the Batman versus Superman quote I keep seeing, because again I don't watch trailers, is, "Do you bleed? Well, I'm going to find out," or something like that.
That was the old quote. Yeah, that was. It's not even in this one now. It's a line from Dark Knight Returns, which is, "It's time I taught you what it means to be a man." Like, oh, cool. They use that line. Nice.
But it's still not necessarily about emotions and friendships and relationships, which is, I think, it just kind of shows us the types of movies they're going for. And I think out of those two, I'm definitely going to prefer the Marvel movie because I like soap operas. But
this one will be kind of, I mean, Batman vs Superman will be kind of like a soap opera in as much, I mean, like, Alfred's going to be real sad, and Batman's
oh god, Jeremy Irons.
Yeah, and he's like,
Alfred's going to be real sad.
He looks really sad. Glasses on, he's all sad. He's like, be prepared.
Yeah, I'm waiting for Jeremy Irons to be like Simon Says.
Okay. Let's wrap up this one so we can move on to our next topic. Because we've never talked about this, I just want to know initial impressions. Are you guys excited about Batfleck directing a Batman movie for his version?
Yes. Okay. Totally. I am. Dude. Let me tell you something. I was always on the fence about Ben Affleck, especially after Daredevil. I was on the fence. I wasn't sure, and then I saw The Town, and I saw Argo. And I saw like some of these movies that Ben Affleck has done that are absolutely amazing, and I'm just like, he will make a good Batman movie. Of course, it all depends on how he plays, but that's the kicker: is Ben Affleck as an actor is a product of the script that he's given, and if he's given a crappy script, his role is going to be crappy, and people are going to say, well, he's a terrible Batman, as opposed to saying like the screenwriter for this film sucks, But
I'll
go see it.
I want Ben Affleck to be good, but on the grounds that the one critique of him that I keep seeing is Ben Affleck as Batman is too fatherly. First off, Batman is one of the best dads in comics. What are you talking about?
No, he really. If you have anybody who's going to act fatherly, it's Batman. Like, he takes in every orphan. I almost feel like, someone's growing older and he's like, I'm just going to walk out on the street and find the nearest homeless kid and bring him in and train him to be my sidekick.
Hey,
put him in spandex.
I put him in spandex.
You want to beat up criminals, kid? Well, come hang out with me and I'll teach you how. But you'll get beat to death with a crowbar, but it's all good.
You get to wear a really rad outfit.
Okay, yeah, he hasn't made all the best decisions as a good dad, but
Oh no, they all died.
No,
Like,
Batman's a terrible father.
no, one of them didn't die, and one of them had a really successful solo run in comics, and then it was cancelled in 2011. But that's
Tommy's a
not
secret agent.
Yeah.
Like he
Can't wait
adopted
Alright.
some girl. I mean, it was like, hey,
Can't
like,
wait, man.
huh?
I can't wait though. I think
Oh, yeah.
Batfleck's gonna be great.
Okay,
I think
I want
it's
to. Okay, moving on from that because everyone wants us to start getting back on the proper topic. Let's talk about this week's comics. So let's go with all new, all different Marvel. Did anyone read Red Wolf and Daredevil? Because I didn't yet.
I haven't read any
None
of
of
the
us read
releases for
these.
all new, all different Marvel. Like, or not none of the ones that came out last week anyway. But Secret Wars number 8 comes out tomorrow. Yes.
Okay.
Secret Wars number 8 comes out tomorrow.
I
didn't
read
realize
Robin War.
that.
Everyone like Robin War?
I read Robin War as well. I
did read Robin War, and
I
I
haven't
liked
read
it.
So far, I'm liking that. I did play catch up and read all of We Are Robin to prep for it, and I was like,
Yeah.
first 3 issues of We Are Robin, I'm like, this was pretty cool, and then like the next 3, I'm like, what happened? What is this?
I right from the beginning was like, oh, this is gonna go very bad around issue 3, issue 4. And I got to issue 4, and I was like, oh, yep, I knew it.
Like
I
we
knew it.
did issue 3 on like a sad note, and then we move into issue 4. It's like side story, and then we're like issue 5 and 6. We're like, doesn't link to anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I don't
very
know.
bad.
I didn't read We Are Robin. I heard mixed reviews about it, and people pretty much said the same thing Benny said, where they were like, it was really good for like the first couple issues.
Yeah, because I read the first issue and I was like, this is cool, and then I didn't care anymore.
Right, the concept was really cool. They were doing good with it, but what? Okay, so let me. I'll pull these. I'll pull up what we because I know there's more than just those two. I just have those two handy here. I read everything else though. That's why I don't have them handy. Okay.
Yeah.
Iron Man 4. Did anyone read that one with the new Mary Jane arrival?
No,
Yes, I did.
I haven't read that yet. I'm so far behind. I'm like 2 weeks behind on comics.
Looks well written.
Iron Man is going really good. I like where they're going with it. I'm curious to see what they're going to do with Mary Jane. And I love her little joke of, I left New York because there's so many superheroes and things get destroyed. And then Iron Man comes rolling in and she's like, why?
Yeah. I've got mixed feelings about the Mary Jane thing, but the Iron Man book was written well and the action was fun. I liked him fighting those ninjas and the suit idea. It's really fun.
People are getting very divided on Samurai Iron Man suit.
Yeah, really. I like it. I thought it was cool.
Well, it's different. Like, it's different from what they're used to, which is, different is always bad in the realm of comics. So.
Oh yeah. Oh no. If I don't remember it, and then it's garbage. Case in point, can't wait for that Batman Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles crossover book.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be amazing.
James Tynion writing it. I can't wait.
It's gonna be awesome. It really is. I know I sound sarcastic, but it's really gonna be good.
No, I really
is it
cannot. I legitimately cannot wait. Just like Ghostbusters Ninja Turtles was awesome, so too will this be.
So was it like a standalone comic?
Yeah, it's like there's no like universal rift or anything. It's just the sewer grate opens and the Ninja Turtles come out, and it's like, oh, Ninja Turtles, I haven't seen you before, but let's team up. Like,
you look
awesome.
friendly.
it's the best kind of crossover, because the worst kind of intercompany crossovers are the ones where it's like you have to set up like 16 pages of these universes exist and there's an interdimensional rift and then blah. Like, no, just say that he's over there.
Who cares?
I
You know
want
what would
to
be
see them
great?
team up. Yeah.
You know, it would be great if they did like an interdimensional rift, but it was literally like one day dimensions merged. Next page.
Yeah. But who cares about that?
Okay, well then, what do you guys think about the new Hulk? Totally Awesome Hulk came out this week.
I hear it actually is totally awesome.
I actually really love it, and
Really?
they hammer home what happened to Bruce Banner right at the beginning, so that like you're not left questioning it Thor style forever.
Good.
Yeah, I've heard that if you like Hulk, you'll probably like this, and I'm not a Hulk fan.
Oh, it's great. No, you might even like it though, because it's very Hulkish, but from the perspective of a 16-year-old kid who thinks he's a genius and amazing. And the premise behind it is he's Amadeus Cho, super genius by day. When he hulks out, he becomes like rad frat boy Hulk. Hey, check out
Really?
my abs.
That's
Yeah, it's totally.
awesome.
That's what he does.
Is it about me when I get drunk? Is that what this?
Like he hulks out, and they're like, he jumps into one scene. He jumps in, and he's like, he crushes the villain, and he's holding him, and he's like, so how's it going, baby? Can I get your number? She's like, I have a boyfriend. He goes, so? Yeah. And then the voice in his ear is like, Amadeus, get back here. And he's like, I beat the villain. It's over. What's up?
Yeah. That's cool. I mean, like I like the idea. I think it's a fun idea, and what's his name is writing it, so it'll be great.
Greg Pak, yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
I've never
Greg-
really read anything by Greg Pak that I've been disappointed in. Like, I still swear to this day that Magneto Testament is one of the best stories he ever wrote. So,
What do you? Okay, I doubt anyone did. But the all new Inhumans won.
Screw the Inhumans. Screw it.
I hated it, dude. I hate it because the other Inhumans book is cool because it follows the ones I care about: Black Bolt, Medusa, what's happening, about the history. This one is their attempt to shoehorn other Inhumans in there.
Well,
No,
they
it's
got to
their-
do it at some
It's
point.
their attempt to replace the X-Men.
It's exactly what it is.
Here's the thing: they're trying to write the Inhumans like the X-Men, and they're like, no one will notice. They ain't writing the Inhumans anymore. They're writing the X-Men. It's bad. It's bad.
It is bad. It has like the worst Inhumans ever. It's like, who's close to X-Men powers? Let's put them in a group.
Okay, no, but all right, but you got to look at this in perspective too. Like, and Sal will attest to this, and I'm sure Benny, like you guys will too. Like for those of you guys in the chat, like what you're seeing now with the Inhumans is what you saw with the X-Men 20 years ago, like 30 years ago. Like literally, there were some X-Men that showed up, and like Threnody showed up, and you were just like, what?
You're like, what? Or
Yeah,
like
Marrow, yeah. I mean, it was like
Arrow
there
is
were,
cool.
dude,
Marrow.
there were X-Men that showed up, and you were just like, this is stupid. But then there were some,
Maggots.
yeah, and then there were some X-Men that showed up, and you were like, this is amazing, And so
Yes.
it's hit and miss. I mean, it's the problem that I think people have when it comes to something like this is they look back and they say, well, the X-Men were awesome. Well, what you remember about the X-Men was awesome because you remember the highlights.
Yeah,
Exactly.
You remember
You
all
have,
the
a,
good
you have a
stuff.
selective memory. You remember Archangel looking cool, but you don't remember him complaining the entire time.
Oh God, dude! Like,
Well,
God,
which actually
Archangel.
brings me to the other two X-Men books. So, All New X-Men is literally melodrama X-Men style, and we
Which
do.
is Val's
I was going
specialty.
to say
Yeah.
Faust is going to be up.
I loved it so much.
It explains what happened to Cyclops. It's the younger Cyclops coping with the fact that his adult version was this guy. There's this whole, I don't want to go too much into it, but there's like a whole group of the ghosts of Cyclops and the X-Men trying to decide what they're going to do and how they're going to team up. It wasn't bad. It is funny, Faust, because Dan, my editor, he loves that stuff too. And so he's like, greatest book ever. And I'm like,
You're like, why?
If all they need to do is throw in another psychic affair, and I'm gonna love it. I'm gonna love it.
They really do need to do that again. It's been a while.
Oh, dude,
Where somebody, where the jilted party throws open a psychic door and is like, oh,
dude,
yeah,
I loved that moment so much when she walks in and it's,
When
it's
Jean
like,
Grey comes through,
it's
she's like,
honey, I
"What's going-"
promise it's not what it looks like. Like we were just having psychic sex.
yeah.
It wasn't. It was on the psychic plane. It was okay.
It's not like physical. Like I didn't put my P in her G. It's not the same.
My Peter G.
Yeah. Except that the only reason why I didn't is because I knew that I had this other option.
See, I've been saying for a while, I want all new X-Men to either go in the direction of X-Men Academy X from 2003, which was sort of like. Does anyone remember when Marvel had that weird period of time where they had a Japanese character in every single comic book?
Yeah.
And then
Yeah,
they
it
made
was-
a group called, like a Japanese X-Men group.
Yeah.
It was led out by Silver Samurai. Am I the only one that remembers that group?
Yeah, you're talking about Big Hero 6.
No. Yeah, no, it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was the preliminary before that, though, before it became Big Hero 6, though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
They were calling them something else initially, and then it became, and then they readapted it. Silver Samurai and everyone dropped out, and they made it the group that we know now. But
Yeah, Big Hero 6 was a terrible one.
I liked it. Why does
I
everyone hate it?
hated Big Hero. It was
It's just
terrible.
for me, it was all the
Oh,
worst.
Faust, like this. Keep going.
No, but I have to say, like, all new X-Men, I just wanted them to do sort of X-Men Academy X, where it was like all teenage X-Men sort of dealing with being in the school, and especially now, I wanted to know what they're all like a bunch of sterile teenagers in a school panicking. Like, how good of a book would that be?
I haven't read this yet, but Sal and Rob's gonna hate this, but I don't know if you guys are aware, but they're releasing a new series.
Oh, it's
Oh,
a
good.
manga. Yeah, it's a manga. Marvel
Yeah.
have nothing to do with it.
Oh,
Really?
okay.
Come
Yeah.
on.
I'm like, really?
It's based off of the movie. It's set in the movie universe, but it was
Do
given.
that.
An,
What if
I
Marvel
haven't read it yet.
Universe-
It's in my manga pile to go through.
Hold on. So
But
this is
it's
like the Street Fighter video game effect. Like they have a group called Big Hero 6 by Marvel, which Disney makes a movie on that has nothing to do with the comic, which they in
Yeah.
turn make a comic
Which they
on
own.
that's based on the movie.
But here's the thing:
has nothing to do.
Marvel are justifying doing this by giving the Big Hero 6 manga an official part in the Marvel multiverse.
I mean,
Yeah.
I could see that. I don't have a problem with it. I mean, I'm not like, I don't care about Big Hero 6. It's it was just one of those instances where Marvel came along and they were like, we have like these Japanese characters that like we've never done anything with.
Like, do what you want.
Let's just like make something with them. And so like let's just put them onto a group that no one's gonna care about that'll last 6 issues. And
Here's the issue that no one knows about this other than me. I swear to God. Marvel wanted to re-release the Big Hero 6 comics when the movie came out, and if the movie did that well, they were going to do another run on Big Hero 6. And Disney were like, no, this is ours now. You can't do that.
So dumb. Because it can only succeed more if it's in the Marvel Universe.
Well, I wasn't surprised by that either, when Disney took that approach, because, as soon as the Big Hero 6 movie came out, I was like, okay, well, then this is the Disney thing, because I knew that when Disney bought Marvel, at some point along the line, there was going to be a title somewhere that they just, like, take, and they're like, we're going to Disneyfy this title.
Yeah, but of all of them, this works.
It works.
And at the end of the day, they're welcome to.
They weren't doing well to begin with.
Oh, I'm not
Yeah,
saying
but
it
at the
doesn't
same
work.
time,
Like, it plays.
it makes me feel really uncomfortable that they've turned this girl that liked to get tattoos and she used to show off her body to get her own way into a big skinny nerdy girl with big glasses that has a nickname, Honey Lemon. Like, no, she used her body to get what she wanted. She was a sex girl, and if any kids find the original Big Hero 6 comics, they're going to feel very uncomfortable.
Oh, dude, that's not the first time that happened. I mean, X-23 first showed up in the cartoon show, and fans were like, "Oh, hey, cool! Like a young female version of Wolverine." Joe Quesada got his hands on it, and like he got his hands on her character, turned her into like a 14-year-old prostitute on the streets of New York, and I was like, okay. And it only lasted for a few issues, but I was like, is that where we're going now?
Right.
Like, is that what we're doing? Quesada, are you okay? And it was.
All right, well, let's keep this topic rolling because I don't know where you're going now at this point.
No, I'm just.
I was
saying,
like, I'm looking for those young prostitutes.
No. I'm just saying, like, it's not the first time Marvel's taken a concept that was ideally family friendly and twisted into something that was anything but. So.
Right. Okay. Okay, so that's that. Now, on the flip side of the X-Men, though, did anyone read Extraordinary X-Men?
No.
Okay. That is I like it, but I hate it. They're taking past Jean and they're sticking her with old man Logan.
Okay, so that was my question. Is that the one
That's
where,
the
like,
team up right now.
Okay, so is Extraordinary X-Men the one where it's basically like the all different X-Men from before Secret Wars, and like throwing them in?
Yeah, it's Aurora. Storm being in charge of them. She's moved the X-Men to the like demon dimension to protect them from the Terrigenesis mist.
To Limbo, but they're now trapped there because
Magic's injured or something's wrong
I
with her.
really hope they have a good backstory, because with what they're doing with these stories and just kind of throwing them in there, like, it's not making sense. I don't even think the writers understand.
Well,
it.
and I called this one out right away. So one of the big things that happens in this one is, of course, Old Man Logan's like, oh, I know my future's not the same future, but I can't let that happen, so I don't want to team up with the X-Men again. And Jean's response is, but you're the Logan, you still have the Logan that I know inside of you. You're still the one. And I'm just thinking, I'm like, didn't she meet him for like 6 issues because the all-new X-Men showed up right before his goddamn death?
Yeah. You're like, how does she even know who he is?
Yeah.
And here's my biggest issue with Extraordinary X-Men. First off, Storm is crazy responsible. Like, a hugely responsible head teacher. She didn't even want Spider-Man looking after her students. No way is she going to say, hey, students, let's go to a demon-infested dimension to be safe. Like, she wouldn't do that.
I 100, but I like to look at that as her like, oh, God damn it, we have no other plan. We got to get out of here before we all die. Like that I can see that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
She'd sooner go to space before she goes to a demon-infested dimension, though.
Yeah, but you also got to think about it this way. Like, the continuity still exists from pre-Secret Wars, and so, like, during Inferno, they're like, well, I mean, we know what's there. Like,
that's true.
There's some really messed up stuff there, so.
I mean, at least, is Pixie still around? Like, that's another question.
I haven't seen her yet.
No.
Because
They've got a few of the core. Like, they took the remains of Wolverine and the X-Men, that school. They took what was left of them at this point, shoved them in with Storm and Beast, and now they're putting Old Man Logan and Jean in there.
Because Pixie can teleport to Limbo, so if Magic's unconscious, it's not a big deal because they still got Pixie.
Well, no, Magic is the one that put up the protection spell, but it only stays up if she's conscious. That was the issue.
Okay.
And can I just, like, I want to go out on a limb here and just say that, I mean, I haven't necessarily read it yet, so I don't know, like, the whole tone and everything, but just on its face, putting Old Man Logan with the teenage X-Men was a terrible decision. It sounds like a terrible idea. Like if I'm gonna see Old Man Logan teaming up with the X-Men team, I want to see him team up with like the adults. Like hey guys, you guys have seen some stuff, right? And they're like, yeah, we've seen some stuff. And it's like, okay, well then we're teaming up.
Okay,
that's
do you remember that? Do you remember that one issue from New Mutants in like 2003, 2005, 2006, when Helion was stabbed in the chest by Lady Deathstrike? It's the tonality of that one issue spread across an entire series.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, well then I can see Old Man. It's just, I mean, it literally just feels okay. Sal made a really good reference once. Maybe it was Vinny. Somebody made a really good reference once where you guys were talking about the new Batgirl, and you were talking about how she's like a 40-year-old woman trying to pretend that she's 20.
Yeah.
And like that's what it feels like with Old Man Logan, like some old guy, like he's like Matthew McConaughey from God, what was that movie? Dazed and Confused. You know, where it's just like he just hasn't moved on past the fact that he's like 90 years old now. And it's like, dude, like you gotta move past your youth. Like you're not a teenager anymore, man. You gotta hang out with the adults, you know. And like on
but
the surface,
Wolverine's different.
He's not even like he's supposed to be ancient, but no comic book artist knows how to draw an old person consistently. So he looks like maybe 50, and they're like, "Whoa, Wolverine, you're like a million years old."
Oh yeah, no. What's funny about it though is you're right because in Old Man Logan he was drawn as an old man, but in Extraordinary X-Men he looks like normal Wolverine with gray hair.
White hair. That's just, and for many X-Men, that's just a mutant power. Like he could still be 35 and just has white hair because comics. Doesn't have to be because he's old.
That's how they differentiate Old Man Logan versus a younger Wolverine.
Well, the other half of the equation too, like something I had to think about was like with Bendis' run, like it was, I think like the feel of Old Man Logan was more like the connotation of the story, especially like when you go and look at the original Old Man Logan story versus like what Bendis did continuing it in Secret Wars. Like it was the overall feel, like it was a dark, gritty story that really felt like something Frank Miller would write, to be honest. But the idea to me was continuing that trend with this character, like keeping Old Man Logan alive in all new, all different Marvel while maintaining the feel of the original Old Man Logan series. And I don't think you could do that by having him hang out with teenagers.
Well, I think that's a funny concept because it's the juxtaposition of this old grizzled man who's seen it all and these young people who haven't. And them being like, let's go, let's just leap first, and Wolverine's like, if you do that, you'll kill everyone you care about. Like just that combination alone is, I guess, their idea of like story potential. That's the pitch, like young and old universe, like young and old teaming up, and their different perspectives on the world to go.
But
I can see them being like, yeah, do that.
But at the same time, it's a bit like I guess the DC equivalent of this situation would be like when Sandman and Death appeared next to Superman. And it was just a bit like, this is wrong. This makes me feel like I'm wearing someone else's underwear. That's very dirty.
Why would you wear someone else's underwear?
That is kind of messed up.
All right, moving on to the next comic so we can get moving on here because we're running low on time. Spidey #1. Anyone read it? I think it's horrible.
Is that the Miles?
Oh,
that's the kid.
I'll go off on it on our episode of Off the Rack.
Okay, yeah, I was not a fan of that at all.
It's a backdoor retcon.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it
really?
feels like to me. It feels like they're going to try to redo the origin finally after all these years.
Like, yeah, they're youthifying Spider-Man, and they're also making like continuity shifts without telling you that they're doing it. But they're like, it's an all new, all different, all ages Spider-Man in continuity. Oh, if it is though, it also means that we changed all this shit that you liked.
Yeah.
So they'll also reference like
they'll happen. I didn't read Howard the Duck 2 or Nova 2 yet, which I really did want to, but. The Star Wars comics, Vader Down is up in full swing, and that is amazing.
Dude, okay. Like, I caught issue #1 of Vader. Let me tell you something, man. Like,
is he down?
Dude, Vader's down. Like he's just sitting out and most likely like getting drunk because he's like, my life is really down in the dumps right now. No, dude, I really like what Marvel's doing with Star Wars. Oh, yeah. Dude, they're hitting every mark.
What I do like about them is that they're being brave enough to tread the line of a retcon without actually retconning everything. Like Vader looking for his son, which actually, if you play, I actually thought, because everyone's freaking the hell out, like, Vader's not supposed to know until, no, and I was thinking about that, I'm like, but what if he did? What if he did know before Empire Strikes Back, but he just didn't reveal it to Luke until they had that moment finally?
Well, no,
Yeah,
I
no,
mean,
he
well,
knew
in Empire
before
Strikes.
Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah, in Empire
Yeah.
Strikes Back, like he tells the Emperor, he's the son of Anakin Skywalker. It's not
Yeah, he
like
knows.
it's not like I think he's like. There's a really good chance that he's the son
Yeah,
of.
I'm pretty
Anakin
sure this
Skywalker.
kid. No,
Shocked you?
Vader knows. It's no. Once he beats him, he like figures it out. I think like once Luke like knocks his ass out into space, Vader's like,
No, see, I'm not.
Then he figures it out.
I'm not someone who is so diehard into the Star Wars landscape that I, had moments that I didn't want to see change. Not to say those people are wrong,
I was, and I don't. But
but to me, like it's to me, this is a fresh start, and I think that's something good. I think it's good to look at the Star Wars landscape and to say, okay, like we have a fresh, centralized thing. Now, the beauty of, and I'm curious to see whether or not Marvel's going to be able to keep this going. The beauty of the expanded universe was that they had rules. Rules were like
Yes.
you couldn't retcon somebody else's work. You couldn't come along and conflict with somebody. It was really, really organized. And for a fan-based concept, it's actually astounding when you think about it. But nonetheless,
Yeah.
I'm curious to see if Marvel can keep that going or if it's going to fall into the Marvel pattern of retconning their own stuff, depending on who takes over the series at some point along the line. But for what it is now, with Marvel coming into the Star Wars universe, by way of Disney, providing a lot of this back content, providing fill-in stories between, A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back, going into Return of the Jedi, after Return of the Jedi, they're doing a really good job. Like, I'm really, really happy with what's going on, especially like the whole Princess Leia, Lando stories, the
Princess.
Han
I didn't like
Solo
Lando
stories.
that much. I'm not gonna lie. I wasn't a huge fan of his story. No, I wasn't. I mean, it was cool, but I just felt like it was an unneeded story. But I loved the Princess Leia one.
Oh yeah, Princess
Loved
Leia.
the
was
Princess
awesome.
Leia one. I love Chewbacca. Dude, Chewbacca is like my
He is a
favorite
beast.
out of everything.
Dude, one of my favorite moments from I think it was Star Wars issue #1 with Chewbacca when he when they were like, whatever you do, don't shoot Darth Vader.
yes,
And he was like, nope.
Chewie, take the shot.
I still have never seen a Star Wars movie.
That's
Oh
right.
God, dude, I'm gonna go. I mean, dude. Oh my God.
You should do a video where the first one you see is The Force Awakens.
No, here's
I'm-
what we're gonna do, guys. I don't want the chat to vote on this one. We are gonna have a Star Wars discussion podcast next Wednesday or Thursday before the movie comes out.
Oh God, it does
be-
come out next week.
Ask us to watch.
No, it comes out on Christmas.
Oh yeah, it does.
No, it comes out on the 15th.
Yeah,
The 15th.
it's,
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, I was gonna say it comes
No.
out next week.
Yeah.
it's next week, dude. I'm gonna send this to Faust, guys, and he has to watch them all for the preliminary pod.
Dude,
I
that
don't have
needs to
time.
happen. Well, you better make time.
It's out on the 18th.
How are you not prepared for that?
You didn't
I
get
thought
your
it came
ticket?
out on Christmas
Dude,
Eve.
No, dude, I got my ticket. Dude, let me tell you something, man. Like
Well-
when they announced the tickets were on sale, I sat at Fandango for 10 minutes waiting for the page to load. And then when I got to the point where I bought my ticket, there were only 2 seats available. So I'm sitting next to somebody in the handicap section. Whatever. Like, we're going to have the time of our life watching that movie.
Yeah,
And,
that's
like,
My thing is with the mountains,
With lots of legroom.
Dango or anything like that, so I have to be there day one. So I have a feeling I'm gonna miss day one because of that, because I'm not gonna go wait 4 hours in the
No,
freaking
dude,
mountain.
I went, like, I
I'll
got my
go
ticket.
mountain weather in December. Not happening. I'll go the next day.
No, dude, like, I got my ticket at 7 p.m. the day it comes out. Like,
Yeah.
Faust,
I'm not screwing around.
you can do this, Faust.
I don't
that-
have time.
You
I
got
have
this,
like
man.
5 meetings this week.
Well, you better make
Faust,
time.
yeah, till next week. We'll do it next Thursday or Friday.
What is
No,
that?
no. He can't go 4 through
It
6.
came out
no.
with a Blu-ray collection of all 6 movies.
Oh, dude, I bought them, man. Like, here.
Definitive complete saga by Disney now.
Yeah, dude, like, I bought them.
Okay,
All
how
the
about
deleted extended scenes, all that crap.
No,
how about we do this podcast and I listen to it and I try and summarize the plot of Star Wars just by listening to your
At
conversation.
least 5
no,
and 6.
no. I will up you on that. First of all, people are saying you have to watch 4 through 6 and then 1 through 3. No, sir.
Yes.
You watch 1 through 6. You have to watch them all in order. You can't. You
But
can't.
this has everything. This is because remember everyone's been like, when are they finally going to just come out with a full box set of this whole crap?
Yeah.
Disney did it finally.
No, I see.
Okay,
I got
I'll
mine.
tell
I got
you-
mine individually because I like having the individual cases.
I've got those floating around, but this just came out and I buy them all. So
So you have two,
This
you have
is-
2 copies of the Blu-ray for Star Wars.
So this is what I know about Star Wars at the moment. There's a guy called Luke, and he's got a father that's Darth Vader, and this guy called Luke bangs his sister or something,
No,
Stop right there. Here's what we're gonna do. Here's what we're gonna do. The podcast, we'll decide the best day to do it, Wednesday or Thursday next week.
No. Let Faust. I want to hear this. Faust, explain to me, because I'm gonna put this up as a highlight on my channel. Explain to me the plot to Star Wars.
Okay, so this guy called Luke bangs his sister or something, and there's a war going on while he bangs his sister, and it's something about an empire. I don't know. And then there's Chewbacca, who's a big furry thing, and then there's like mini Chewbaccas, but they're not called mini Chewbaccas, but they're small and furry. And then there's Princess Leia, who I think is Luke's sister, and then there's also, is she a queen or a princess? But either way, her name sounds like Have a Banana, and her makeup keeps changing in every shot that she's on because she's got like this really complex face paint. And then there's Han Solo, and he does something.
What's Darth Vader's significance?
He's Luke's father.
Who's that?
He's and then someone gets compressed in metal, and they're like that when they're compressed in metal.
Dude, this is so perfect. Keep going.
Okay, Faust, if you can do it, we'll figure something out as your reward for watching all 6. Now, bear in mind, the Star Wars movies are not Lord of the Rings. They're all like an hour and a half. They're not that long.
Yeah, you're not gonna sit down and watch a 4-hour long film.
See, this whole time I've been thinking they're like 3 or 4 hours.
No, they're not Lord of the Rings. They're normal movies.
They're popcorn movies.
You sound like Sal, dude. You look like you died a little bit inside hearing that.
Yeah.
Whole
Okay, so Faust, you have to be here for next week's, because I have a legit reason. The 3 of us are super Star Wars fans. Faust is the noob. We need him to watch at least 4, 5, and 6, because that's where it all started. I do agree you should watch 1 through 6 so you really appreciate 4, 5, and 6, but you have to at least watch those, okay?
Yeah.
Okay. I probably just lost like 10,000 subscribers, but it's fine.
Unsub. I don't know what this guy's doing.
They're not the same length as the Lord of the Rings trilogies.
No, they're not.
Okay.
No. The Lord of the
Okay, because I should probably watch them, because I will happily sit down and watch every Lord of the Rings movie in one day, because I love those.
I'm getting ready to fire up the.
You can do all the Star Wars movies. You'll love the melodrama of Anakin and Banana Wana, as you put her.
Banana. See, I'm not even sure who you were referring to in that instance.
Queen Amidala.
Oh, Queen Amidala.
Talking
Okay.
about
Like
All right, so
Banana
anyway, moving on, so we can move on to the Jessica Jones discussion, and we can take our little 2-second breather. DC was just discussing what came out over there real fast. DC's got the Superman True storyline still going on. I am still following it, but I am getting very tired of it. I'm at the point I'm, which is a DC fan, am at the point where I'm like, can I at least have one book that's just normal Superman again? Like, I know he's in Justice League, but you just made him the god of goddamn strength. So give me a book where he's normal again, please.
Okay, so here was my kicker. Like, after just finishing Darkseid War, like just finishing my series on Darkseid War, it was good. And Jeff Johns, you're a great writer, but man, like the thing, man, Jeff Johns, man. That is a story where as soon as I finished it, I was like, this is it? Like I want the next part now. This is one of those stories that I hate reading in piecemeal.
Oh yeah, and he broke it like that too.
Yeah.
He did acts.
Yeah, well, he broke it up into acts, and it's just like, okay, so we end with and I asked people on my channel, I was like, do you guys think like Jeff Johns is telling us that like Gelos is the Joker? Because okay, I want to ask you all that question too. Like, do you guys think that Gelos is the
There's like
Joker?
90 theories.
I know, I do. There's a million theories, and I'll be honest, man. Like, I think it is. Like,
I think he's implying that, and he's looking at the reaction to decide if he wants to finish with that.
That would be a smart move to make.
That's what I think.
That would be
I'm
a
not
smart
doing
move. Yeah.
My only complaint about that is, how does that tie into the origin that Snyder just gave him?
Well, okay.
No, he didn't give him an origin. He just said he's not immortal. Sorry,
Well,
everybody.
he just said he's the Pale Man. Is all.
Yeah.
I assume you're talking about Endgame.
He's not.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's not though.
No, he is.
No,
No,
he
he
just
was
took
no.
90s.
He just took
He
the
just took
90s.
the magic
Well,
shit in
we
himself.
ended it with the exact, and this is what I think they're going to do with Jeff Johns. We ended the Batman saga with no definitive yes or no. Batman doesn't believe it.
Did?
No, he
He doesn't
didn't.
believe it, and Joker's afraid of death. Yeah.
It doesn't matter if Joker's afraid of death. Doesn't mean that there's still the history of him popping up. It doesn't mean
He
that he's not.
photoshopped himself into those pictures.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is we never got the definitive yes or no.
All right, we didn't know. No one. Batman doesn't. Joker doesn't say,
Right.
I'm lying.
He hasn't come back yet like Batman has. So that could be where was
No, but also keep in
That's only
mind, like
because Snyder said he doesn't have any more Joker stories. He said I only have 2 Joker stories, and these are they.
no,
And
but
now
like okay, but keep in
what if
mind,
it's
like
all the same?
at the end of Endgame, like the whole premise behind the Pale Man thing was there were 3 people. Like Vandal Savage was the only one that got the pure sample of Dionysium before everybody else, and then the Joker and whoever else it was, they all got the tainted stuff. It wasn't pure. So Joker had to keep going back and replenishing himself in the Lazarus pits like Ra's al Ghul. That's why his face healed. So like that was the whole premise of how it ended. Is Batman was like, if this stuff is impure, like you're going to die, like you're going to die in this battle. But if it's not pure, or if it is pure, then you're going to live on and you're going to be fine. And Joker started freaking out.
That he had to go back to the Dionysium to keep living forever. He is the Pale Man, but he had to go back for it to work. And Batman was like, "Fuck you."
But like my idea, and this is the question that I would ask too, is because that does raise a good question. If Scott Snyder is Jeff Johns. Does he even care about Scott Snyder's story?
That's what I'm wondering.
I think they're treating it like 2 different stories.
Yeah, well, that's what's so confusing about this whole creativity over continuity is because if Jeff Johns comes out and he says the Joker is the Greek god of laughter and he's just been appearing over the course of continuity and then it struck a particular interest in Batman, then it's like, well, how does that reconcile with Scott Snyder? And Jeff Johns is like, well, technically I'm the head honcho in DC right now, so
that's right.
I supersede Scott Snyder.
He's like, it does.
Here's the thing with the Joker. Every sort of 5 to 10 years, some arsehole goes, I'm going to create the definitive Joker origin. I'm going to reveal who he is. And then 5 to 10 years later, we get another one. It does. So it doesn't matter.
One thing I will say about this, though, one thing I like about the Joker is the mystery that comes with his origin.
That's what
and
I'm
the fact
saying.
that we've never hammered it home like, this is it. Officially, like I like that because they kind of ruined the mystery of Deadpool and Wolverine with that. Like they were great because you didn't know, and now that you definitively have an origin, it's like,
that's the interesting part of the Joker. If people were thinking that he was some kind of Greek god, do you not think that he'd go for that? Do you not think that? Yeah. So it could just be that he's playing with it, like.
Well, see, that's what I did a Periscope where I was talking to people about the Joker, and my philosophy is this: there's a lot there. I mean, the whole Alan Moore Killing Joke started the trend of let's see if we can provide an origin for the Joker that people will like. It made providing an origin popular, but for me, at the end of the day, I don't like the idea of the Joker, consuming Dionysium and having been around for hundreds of years. I don't like the idea of the Joker being a Greek god. I like the idea of Alan Moore's Joker. He was just a dude that had a bad day and lost his mind and has just been crazy ever since.
I think that's what they're doing. I think that they're literally allowing you to do, by never definitively stating this is the origin. You can pick your favorite. You can pick your favorite.
Oh, yeah.
You can throw out Dionysium. I can say I like Dionysium. You can be like, I want Killing Joke. Faust can be like, I want the little kid version that's on Teen Titans.
Well, because they all lead down the same path. Like, I mean, they all end up in the same place. Show. Because like if you can go read The Killing Joke from Alan Moore and just read the section of Joker's origin and then jump into New 52 Batman and it still stands. You can go read like, the Alan Moore Joker story and then go read like Emperor Joker and it still stands. Like
or you could have nothing.
Or have nothing, yeah.
And you could just not care and it's like, well, who's Joker? He's Batman's greatest nemesis, the end.
See, my issue with the Joker ever getting an origin is that he is supposed to be sort of like a literary avatar of obsession. When you become so obsessed with something to the point that you lose all aspects of yourself and your whole life revolves around this one thing. And that's kind of what Joker is. He's lost so much of himself that we're never going to find out his origin definitively, at least in my opinion, because he doesn't have that anymore. So it doesn't matter anymore. What matters is his obsession with Batman, and he don't care about nothing else. And he's obsessed with Batman, not Bruce Wayne. We've seen him meet Bruce Wayne. We know that he knows Bruce Wayne is Batman, and he don't care.
Yeah. Well, like somebody in the chat made a really good point. They talked about Heath Ledger's Joker, and the idea that like every time he told a story about his scars, it was always different. It was always a different origin.
Well, and that's what I was getting at. I think that's why they never state this. And I think that's what they did with the Gelios one. Because if you like Gelos, well, then you can say that's him. Because they didn't say, he didn't go, my real name is Gelos. It said the god of laughter Gelos, and it just showed his face.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you can go with it if you want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was a really good tease. Like as soon as I cracked the book open and I saw that, I was like, oh my god, this story just got real.
All right, so other books that came out this week, because none of that came out this week. Faust and I were talking about this on the pre-thing, though. But why is all these miniseries continuing? Batman Beyond's still going, and
Yeah.
books that are supposed to be canceled, like Gotham by Midnight, are still going.
Yeah.
And
I mean, it
don't know.
doesn't.
I'll
it
tell
doesn't
you
sound
for why.
interest.
why?
Because it's the end of the year and they don't have any other ideas.
Yeah.
They're just like,
Well, it's like
we're going.
it's like the movie season. Like when Tiffany and I were just talking about, like, oh my God, Revenant, Star Wars, Hateful Eight, like all these movies are coming out right now. Why? And I'm like, because January is the movie studio's dumping ground. Like it's it's January. Like watch movies in January. It's all garbage.
Oh,
I think it's similar.
It's not all garbage. It's their biggest experiments, as in they expect it's going to suck horribly.
Yeah.
There's always one movie out of that entire month that everyone's like, "Oh my god, best
Well, yeah,
movie of the
but
year!"
only because the cream rises to the crop. It's like if you release 16 Alvin and the Chipmunk sequels in January, like anything that is not stupid is gonna be like, oh, the greatest movie this month.
But
yeah,
like,
like, I'll go
no,
see 'em
the
all.
issue with that is in Europe we get movies that are released on December 25th in America in January.
Oh,
And so I want to go and
you
see
have a different
Joy.
season.
Yeah, so I want to go and see Joy, but that's going to come out in January, surrounded by crap, and I know Joy's going to get toned down.
Oh, dude,
down
it's
for
like that movie. What was it? The Snorlax or whatever it was. Like,
Snorlax.
yeah, dude. Like me and
He
a
owns you.
the,
dude, me
the
and a-
Lorax.
the Lorax. Yeah, me and a bunch of friends. Like we went. Like we engaged in acts that would have otherwise taken us out of our normal mental capacities,
I say
and then
yes.
went to go see the movie and had a very good time. So like, dude, we got so high.
What? No.
But no, like
Uh,
the whole thing.
Moving
with moving on. The whole thing with the Joker is this. You know, at the end of it really just comes down to personal preference. But I would make an argument, and I think I could probably make a legitimate argument in saying this, that a majority of people would rather just believe that the Joker's just a crazy guy. And the reason why is because if the Joker's some kind of all-powerful deity, some kind of all-powerful entity, or just some immortal guy that drinks from a well, you know, below Gotham City, at the end of the day, he can't be killed. He can't be defeated. He just
Yeah.
comes back all the time. And even if the Batman-Joker conflict goes on for the next 100 years, if Joker's just a guy, then people know that at some point on the line he can be killed, and it's good for sales because the question is, will the next Batman-Joker conflict mean the death of the Joker, or will it mean the death of Batman? Like Scott Snyder's Batman Endgame, it was touted as one of these two is not going to make it out of this alive, you know, or both, you know, and the idea is which one is it going to be? And for me, that's what made the story so cool, was with like this final conflict between the two of them. But if Jeff Johns comes along and he says, well, nah, that happened, but don't worry about that. Like, the Joker's just some god, and so even if his physical body was destroyed by Batman, he'll come back. It takes away from the effect and the intrigue of the Joker because he always comes back, you know. And I'd like to believe that at the end of the day, he's just a crazy guy. There's nothing more to him than that. That the whole craziness and the whole, you know, build-up and the larger-than-life concept is a product of Batman's actions and how he views the Joker as opposed to what the Joker really is. And I think that's what makes him such a solid, at least in my book anyway, makes him such a solid character.
I'm gonna say the thing that I find most interesting about this Joker origin is that it proves what everyone's been saying for years is there is a lot of stuff below Gotham, and it's a wonder that city is standing solid.
Dude, it's nuts. Dude, as big as that cavern was, it's like, how did that city not collapse?
All right, guys. So that is the bulk of today's things. I do want to. We're going to bring in a new segment here where we have the front bumpers where we're going to be discussing our sponsors. But there's an interesting type of sponsors in the ending, and I want to end this episode by telling you guys about Double Take Comic Books. They bring you a great world of a comic book world of the what ifs of the Night of the Living Dead. What if the world of the Night of the Living Dead were to continue onward? And right now, if you go on Comixology, you can get all of issue 1s for free, and you can get all of their issue 2s for 99 cents a piece. So you can get 10 comic books for $10 to check out this new world. I've been checking them out recently, and I'm a big fan of the Night of the Living Dead and zombies in general. I'm the guy that, like, 20 years from now, I'll still be watching zombie movies. So checking out zombie comic books is something that I really enjoyed, and it's just us trying to recommend stuff to get you out of your comfort zone, guys. We can't guarantee where the stories are going to be in 6 issues, but right now we're enjoying them. And also wanted to let you guys know about, check out I Hate Fairy Tale Land, or depending on if you get the variant cover, Fuck Fairy Tale Land. It's about a
That's an amazing name.
It's from Scotty Young, and it's a great book about a girl who at age 6 goes into fairy tale land and has one job, which is to go get the key so that she can go home. And 30 years later, she hasn't found the key. And she can't grow up, but mentally she has. It is an amazing book, another independent gem out there. So go check out I Hate Fairy Tale Land or Fuck Fairy Tale Land, depending on where you find it and what your variant cover is. So that's how we want to kind of close out these podcasts, is let you guys know about books that are out there that you do need to check out. We all know Batman, we all know Superman, we all know the Avengers, we all know that stuff. But did you know about the Night of the Living Dead comic books? Did you know about Fuck Fairy Tale Land? I just want to say that a couple times because I can get away with swearing right now because it's in the title of a book. So Fuck Fairy Tale Land, great book by Scotty Young.
That's okay. So like that, I didn't even know about the whole double take Night of the Living. That sounds amazing. Like,
yeah,
I'm actually gonna check that out.
Okay, so Mike disclaiming that we all like it is more like I liked it and I worked out the deal.
I am so. Dude,
it is really cool, and all the issue ones are only $1. So I mean, the issue ones are free. Issue 2s are only $1 for all 10, and it's all different variations like the one survivor in a town, or this girl who wants to be a radio host because there's no one competing with her, or the president's secret servicemen and what they did to go find out about them and stuff like that.
X-Men versus vampires.
That's another one.
What?
So
Wow.
and I, just because Comic Pop has did anyone else know about I Hate Fairy Tale Land or Fairyland?
I've heard of it. I Hate Fairyland, but I didn't read it.
Look, if I saw the Fuck Fairyland in my comic shop, I would have bought 10 of it.
Right?
It is the greatest thing ever. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna go grab the issue. I didn't get the variant because it says Fuck Fairyland, and I didn't want.
Dude,
I'm gonna grab it to show you guys. While you guys move on to the last topic, discuss Jessica Jones for 10 minutes. I'm gonna use the restroom, and I'm gonna grab that book. I'm not gonna get this spoiled for me right now. So enjoy the discussions of Rob, Sal, and Faust to the end of this podcast.
I was
So
gonna say this
Jessica
ahead of time.
Jones.
Like, I'm definitely gonna get the fairy. Like, I'm gonna call it like "Fuck Fairy Tale Land" and my title of the video. Like,
So Jessica Jones is the greatest thing to happen
Oh
to
my
humanity since
God.
Air.
Great show.
dude.
It's the
beautiful,
best
wonderful.
thing that Marvel has made, in my opinion.
Okay, so people were asking me. They were like, "So how do you think it compares to Daredevil?" I will say the only thing Daredevil topped Jessica Jones on was the main villain with Kingpin. But aside from that, like, I think everything else is better in Jessica Jones.
I think that.
See,
I-
I don't think you can compare Kilgrave to Kingpin because
Yeah.
they were two different. Like, no, it's like the whole tonality of the series lent to Kilgrave being the main villain in the way he was. You couldn't have done that differently.
Yeah,
Honestly,
but I mean,
the only thing that I can compare Kilgrave and Kingpin to is they're my two favorite villains in the Marvel Cinematic Universe now.
oh god, yeah,
Yeah.
dude, by
Like,
a long shot.
It's like Kilgrave, Kingpin, Loki, and then maybe what's his name?
Ultron?
No, it's
Rock the
it's
Leaper?
Iron Man 2. It's the guy.
Oh,
Not Whiplash.
Anton Venka.
No.
Oh, you're talking about oh god,
Yeah, right. Justin Hammer.
Justin Hammer.
Justin Hammer is my other favorite villain in the Marvel Cinematic
It was
Universe.
hilarious, dude. I loved
It's
it.
amazing.
Sam
As
Rockwell
anti-Tony
played him
Stark.
so well.
Yeah, but anyway.
I have to say that my favorite thing about Jessica Jones is. Are we allowed to swear in this
Dude,
segment?
everybody in the chat's chiming in like,
You
Justin
know what?
Hammer,
If-
Justin Hammer.
Listen, we're talking about Jessica Jones. The Jessica Jones show has swearing in it. We're also spoiling it for you. So if you don't want to know the spoilers for Jessica Jones, leave now. That said, yeah, we can curse about Jessica Jones. So
Okay, I like that Jessica Jones had fucks in it both verbally and physically. Like, they weren't afraid to pull
Dude,
any punches.
okay.
there was some, there was a lot
Let
of
me tell
banging.
you something, man. Like when I was,
I've just
watching
come to
that-
the exception. I've just come to accept that I will have this spoiled, so I might as
Oh
well
yeah,
just.
yeah. You're gonna have this one. Okay. So here's something that cracked me up. Like when I when I read Alias, there was like one sex scene in
Yep.
that comic.
Yeah,
And
but there
so-
were a
and-
lot of boobs.
There was
were a lot of
there was also
boobs.
implied like sex. Like Jessica Jones kept trying to get laid in that book and just couldn't for the life of her, except that one time in the beginning of the book.
Yeah, but I mean, I mean, it wasn't like an over, dude. Like I watched the series, I was like, good God, they're banging a lot.
Yeah, a lot of banging in this
Oh,
show.
man.
I was watching it with a couple of friends for a few episodes, and my friends were going, "How much does she drink? Is she always drunk?"
Oh yeah.
Like, is
The
she?
thing, she drinks so much. I was legitimately worried for the character. I'm like, you're only probably like 27, and your liver is destroyed. Like,
But then
your
she's
superpower.
got her superpower heals her quicker than usual. So maybe
I
it's
hope
just
so, because she was really destroying
Well, I mean,
herself.
yeah, like she never got drunk, so it's not like she can get drunk. So.
I mean,
My
like,
only-
unless she's just unless she's just a surlier drunk.
And
Yeah.
my only complaint about the series is it definitely takes place over the course of a few months, but at
Yes.
times it doesn't feel like that. Like it's a bit like, oh, in this scene we're in winter, and now we're suddenly in spring, and
Yeah.
now we're in summer. Like I think it was like episode 5, we suddenly went from winter to spring in the space of 5 minutes.
I didn't really mind like the whole passing of time and the changing of the seasons. In truth, I didn't really notice it, to be honest. Like, to
All
me,
I noticed was, yeah, occasionally I saw snow. I'm like, oh.
yeah,
it's
like
cold.
like to me, it felt like the show
I-
took place over the course of like a week and a half. Like,
Okay, I have to say, one of my favorite things about the show is that leather jacket. That leather jacket was designed so well. Costuming on the show was on point. Like no one wore superhero costumes, but the
No.
costuming was still on point. I like how they had 20 different pairs of identical jeans for Jessica.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm pretty
dude,
sure I'm the
how
only
about
person that cares about
How
that.
about that Jewel costume reference? I was like, oh, dude, I'm so glad to see that.
See,
It was a
that's
good
my
nod.
own,
It was a good
Um,
nod.
That's my only complaint. For me personally, it was a big thing in Alias that Jessica chose to become a costumed hero because
Yes.
people didn't trust Spider-Man, but they trusted the Fantastic Four because they wore friendly and bright costumes and they were
And
a
showed their
recognizable
faces.
face. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so Jessica became an open hero that showed her face, so people would trust her. And for me, that was always a big part of the character because as much as she's a bit of a dickhead, she wants people to trust her.
Yeah. This was also another highlighted difference between the show and the comic was that this Jessica Jones was a lot more insecure and a lot more desperate than the old one. Like this is not the same Jessica Jones in the comic, and as much as the old Jessica Jones was a harder bitch. Like she
Yeah.
was just a
Oh,
tough-
dude, she was brutal.
like Jessica Jones
Yeah.
in the comics was like she would step on your face like she doesn't care. This Jessica Jones wants you to think she doesn't care, but instead actually deeply cares. Like
Yeah.
I really believed in the Jessica Jones in the show. In the comic, that Jessica Jones, I'm like, who can crack this shell? Because this chick is hardcore.
Yeah.
Like
And I will say, like, I'd never heard of the Jessica Jones actress before this.
Oh, Kristen
she
Ritter?
might-
me either.
Dude, she was-
Jessica Kristen Ritter. She was on that
Oh,
Veronica Mars
dude.
show that I watch.
No, she was
So
on
I liked-
Breaking Bad, dude.
Yeah,
But
I
I-
watch shows.
Oh.
But I like that she's not a major name. Like David Tennant is kind of a major name, at least
Oh,
for me,
yeah.
because and here's the thing, my issue, because David Tennant played Kilgrave incredibly well. Like I don't defute his
Brilliant
performance. He was brilliant, but because he's a face that I recognize, I was constantly going, "Oh, that's like him in Doctor Who," and it took me a bit out of it. If that makes sense, I would have preferred that they just did a full cast of no names, and so that way, especially for like a horror suspense kind of thing, which is what they were going for, I would have gotten into it a bit more. And the soundtrack, I love that it was cheesy jazz music.
Yeah, that was fun too.
There was.
I loved, David Tennant, man, he just destroyed that role. It was so amazing. I didn't watch. I don't like Doctor Who, so I've only seen him in like 1 or 2 episodes of the show. So it was like perfect for me to be able to just be like, yeah, I like that, because he's in Harry Potter for like a half second where he's like, and then that's it. And I remember everyone was like, David Tennant's in Harry Potter, and he plays a bit character and has 4 lines, and then he's gone forever. Oh, good. Well, gee, thank goodness. We have
well, I mean, in the book,
support
you
this-
spent like most of the time as Mad Eye Moody, so it made sense.
I'm just saying that, like, it was like, what the hell? You might as well have cast anybody. Who gives a shit? But
Yeah.
and by the way, I was really worried by like episode 4 when David Tennant, when Purple Man was just saying Jessica every once in a while, and Jessica's looking for him. By episode 4, I'm like, okay, I see. So David Tennant's too big to be on this show. He'll be in like 3 episodes at the end, and that's what they're going to build him up. No. And then he's just in the show, and he's in it forever, and I'm like, yes.
Okay,
And when Jessica was in his house, I was a bit like, how long is it going to take for her to realize she's immune? Like,
okay, so all right, so talking about Purple Man for a second, because man,
Are we talking about the ending of the show and what happens to Purple
no,
Man?
no, we're talking about Purple Man as a whole.
I was
how
gonna
he was
say,
portrayed in the show.
let's not go
No,
all
no,
the way to
no.
the ending because we do need to do a whole cast for the whole show.
Okay.
Like
Yeah.
Purple Man as he was portrayed in the show,
Yes.
I was on the fence about it, and
I
it's
wanted him to be purple.
Well, he was.
See,
again,
but also-
I wanted him to be purple too. Like I wanted that too. But here was the kicker. With his character, I was on the fence for one big reason, and that was because they didn't have a lot to work with. Like when it came to
No.
Kilgrave, like he like his role in Alias was the biggest role he ever had. I don't care what you want to say about like the purple kids,
Doctor Doom and
whatever.
stuff. No, like
Like, that was his big that was his signature role for me in
Yes.
Marvel Comics was Alias. What I will say is I liked the way he was portrayed. I liked that I like the small moments, like the moment where some guys like giving him shit at the newspaper stand, and he's like pick up the coffee and splash it in your face, and like that was cool. Like that was just a funny little moment. What I didn't like was the whole thing of humanizing him. You know, making him.
You didn't like feeling bad for him.
I didn't like feeling bad for him. That's what it was.
Because that's why it's a great show. Because
it is a great show.
you didn't like when he and Jessica were together and he seems a little bit more human. Because that was also a frustrating part for me. Because where I'm like, oh no, he's bad. Don't make me feel bad for this guy.
I was like, I don't want to feel like I don't want to be like, man, dude, like it's like I understand his pain. I want to be like, this guy's just a really evil dude who makes people do terrible things.
Evil. But what was perfect for it was after the veneer fell off and he's just like, put a bullet in your head, Patsy, and you're like, okay, he's done. Like he's just not playing anymore. He shows his true colors. He's like, this is who I am. I'm not actually a good person. They portrayed him as a sociopath perfectly.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna admit speaking of Patsy, the one thing that I was disappointed about is like I liked the character of Trish. I did like her there, but at the end of the day, I would have preferred if we introduced Ms. Marvel.
Man, dude, I'm
Really
glad I'm
cool.
not the only one who thought that.
What a bold idea that would have been to introduce Ms. Marvel or Captain Marvel there.
Carol Danvers, because in the comics that was her best friend. You know,
yeah,
like they hung out.
Like even if it was pre-superpowers Captain Marvel, and that led into the Captain Marvel movie being like an origin. Like, how ballsy would that have been to make Captain Marvel a hero after Jessica Jones?
Yes, that would have been amazing.
But
that said, I loved what they did with Patsy. I thought she was amazing. The actress did a great job. The character was really brilliant. And and I think that the Patsy character, like the Patsy Walker history, really highly illustrated the issues that were present in the show. Not the issues with the show, but the issues that like the show was tackling.
Yeah.
And I loved the police officer guy because I was like, is he based off of someone? And then they introduced the pills.
Dude,
I know who that.
Dude, as soon as they said that, like as soon as the doctor showed up and he was like, here's the white pill, the blue pill, and the red pill, I was like, oh my god, we got Nuke.
That was so funny because Tiffany, like, we're watching the show and this guy's like becoming clearly more unhinged, and they mentioned his name a couple times, and Tiffany like just Googles his name. She goes, "Who's Nuke?" And I go, "Nuke! Oh shit, it's Nuke!" And then like as he starts to move, I'm like, "Oh, here he comes!"
I was like, I said it.
Then I'm like, "Man, carry him over, put him in Daredevil, put him in the Captain America movies. Like, I don't care."
That was but anyway,
that was great.
So all right, so back to my thing on Purple Man. Here. While I wasn't the biggest fan of them making me feel bad for him, what I will say, and this is why I agree with you, Sal, about the whole like sociopath thing, is even despite the moments where he was hanging out with Jessica and he was like, "I'm not a bad guy," like
I'm a byproduct of my environment.
I'm a byproduct of my environment. Like the one scene that turned that said, "Okay, this is clearly a guy that screwed up," was his parents when he was in the cell. Dude, as soon as his mom stabbed him, I was like, it's curtains. Like, it's over for her.
Oh, my God.
And so
It's
I was
curtains
like,
for all of
it's curtains for moms. And
Yeah.
so, and like, that whole thing, I was like, he made his parents kill themselves, or made his mom kill herself. I was like, that is, and that to me right there is what said, okay, I'm fine with what they're doing here. Because that's what I wanted to see. I didn't want to see a Purple Man that uses powers for, like, basically like spending the whole time trying to reacquire Jessica Jones and occasionally doing bad things, like using his powers and making those two people sit in the house with their eyes wide open and not letting them close them. Like that's the kind of Purple Man I wanted to see.
I will say this series had some of the most brilliantly I usually hate product placement, but this series did it brilliantly. Like, how many times was the police scanner app mentioned?
Oh god,
it's a real thing.
My police scanner app.
And then the Beats headphones at the end of the series.
Yeah.
And, like it was just brilliantly in there, and
So can I ask? This is for a question for the chat and for you guys. How many times did you think to yourself when she's dealing with Hogarth, who is a Marvel Universe character, by the way? She was a guy in the original universe and a douche. So it's brilliant that she was who she was in the show because it was awesome.
It's brilliant that she was Lebanese.
Yeah. It was brilliant that she was a monster, but like how many times did you think to yourself? Because I tweeted this like during the show. Wouldn't have this problem with Nelson and Murdoch. I don't know about you, but I don't know when we're gonna call those. What
I kept
when?
Dude,
that's the only. My only problem was just like, when are we gonna get the cameo from Daredevil?
I was so.
Not even Daredevil, just the law firm.
Dude, I was so looking forward to that, and then like Claire Temple shows up, and she's like, "I've got a friend," and I was like, "That's all we get."
That's all we get.
I read up why that wasn't done. They did it because they wanted some of the people from Daredevil to like sort of cross over, but they didn't want Murdoch to actually show up, just because the creator of Jessica Jones said that he personally felt that would have made it feel a bit less unrealistic, because with all the people that are in New York and all the people that are in this area, how likely is it that this one guy would cross over into it?
Yeah. Well, how likely is it that a nurse would cross over into it?
Well, in a hospital. In a hospital.
But like, there are 1,000 hospitals in New York City.
Well, yeah, okay, but there was a perfect instance when she said like, you know, I need a lawyer. Like, she went to go see Hogarth, and Hogarth could have been like, I know some guys, and then that would have been, and then it would have been a perfect way to segue in, you know.
Or even if it was just like a business card, and then Jessica's like, no, I want you.
I want exactly.
Or like,
that
no, I want an actual lawyer who's going to win the case.
Yeah.
Like a joke about them or something, or have them lose to Hogarth in one of the like just like the end scene where she's like and the closing arguments, and Daredevil tries his best and he loses.
Yeah.
Even if it's just like in one of the final episodes, she says see Hogarth on the phone. It's like, oh, it's that Murdoch asshole, and then that's all
like
you just need that one mention.
Just her being like, this kid will not give up. Like, it's
I didn't expect to see like a Daredevil Jessica Jones team. I would have liked to have seen.
I did not. I would have loved that. Because you know what the team up would have been? It would have been Daredevil showing up and then Purple Man being like, "Get out of here!"
Yeah,
and then he
just walk away.
Did anyone else notice how Jessica's powers gradually became more and more powerful as the series went on?
Yeah.
Like she went from barely being able to pick up a car to gradually just getting more and more powerful, and I was just like, is this a thing? Does she get because I wanted to see her fly. I wanted to see her gain the ability to fly, because that's one of my favorite things in Alias, when she suddenly learns how to fly and she's like, fuck.
She gets rescued by Thor. See, that would have been a cool moment. Like, because I was surprised they didn't show her backstory. But that would have been a cool moment if, like, they had shown the backstory, and like she was learning how to fly. She crashed into the water, and like Thor rescues her. Like, picture about it. Like, that would have been.
That's why I wanted around episode 8. I wanted an episode with young Trish and young Jessica, and it's just like 60 minutes of just those two.
Yeah.
Yes, I was expecting that because like of the flashback scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, can I also say, and I hate to say this, but I think that the actress who played teenage Jessica was a better actress than Kristen Ritter.
You think so?
Yeah.
Wow.
I bought that Jessica more.
I bought both Jessicas completely. But
I was sold. But when they did that flashback in like episode 11 or 10, I go, wow, I would watch a whole show of these two.
One thing that put me off about young Jessica, and this is me nitpicking, no one else. The woman that plays older Jessica has clearly had a nose job. And I'm like, when did Jessica get a nose job? Because young Jessica clearly hasn't had one. Because she's got like the whole surgical upwards and then the line.
Yeah.
It's just something. I look out for nose jobs, so
it was one of the most noticeable character character. Yeah.
See, I wasn't really looking for that kind of thing, for like noticeable differences between her younger self and her older self. Like,
no, I was so sold at that point I didn't even care.
Yeah,
I wasn't even aware of it.
But I will say this, like ultimately, the whole Jessica Jones series, like, to me, I gotta tell you, like, I saw an article on the Marvel subreddit that somebody had posted, and it was like, Jessica Jones has made Marvel up their game. Like, they're gonna have to step it up. And dude, I agree with that so wholeheartedly. And here's the reason why, because like, you sit down and you watch like Captain America, or you watch Iron Man or something like that, and then you watch Daredevil, and you watch Jessica Jones, and you're like, I get this is a show, I get they've got 13 hours to create and build this character, but it's so much better.
That's the thing. Like Iron Man made Spider-Man look like Batman and Robin, And Daredevil made Iron Man look like Spider-Man, and Jessica Jones makes Daredevil look like Iron Man. Like it's just keep that up because each one is still great.
Yeah.
So
I think the thing that benefited it the most, and we'll never see this in the movies, is that it wasn't afraid to be smart. It wasn't afraid to say, look, we're not going to dumb this down for you. If you don't get it, it's not for you. So hurry up and get it because you'll like it when you do.
yeah.
And so it didn't think that its audience was going to be dumb, if that makes sense. And
Right. Well, they're like, if you're watching Jessica Jones, you're gonna quit in the first episode if you're too stupid to get it.
Well,
Yeah.
no, well, that I think was a great decision. I mean, with the way that it initially took off, the way that it initially built, like, I mean, oh god, we're missing. I'm surprised.
Yeah, we're leaving out the most
we haven't
important.
talked about this yet. Luke Cage, man.
Yes.
Luke Cage, dude. Okay, let me tell you something. As soon as that show started, and we were 2 episodes in, like, what was the name of the actor that played Luke Cage?
Mike Coulter.
Yeah, Mike Coulter. Dude, as soon as and the scene where him and Jessica are talking in the bar after it's closed, dude, one of the best moments of the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe.
He steals every scene he's in.
Every single one. Every single one.
And that's why I wish he wasn't in the finale of the series. I wish he'd been in that little bit in the beginning, and then we'd left it, because the finale of the series did leave a lot of loose ends for it to keep going on. So just leave it for like us to find out what happened to Luke Cage after episode 3.
Well, we will know because Luke Cage will get a show.
Yeah,
Well,
and I have no doubt Jessica Jones won't be in it.
Yeah.
She'll be in it.
Just, I bet she'll be in it as much as freaking Nelson and Murdoch was.
No, I bet she'll be in it as much as like Luke Cage.
Or like
was.
Hogarth will show up in
like
Luke Cage.
Well, see, here's a kicker. Like, having Luke Cage and Jessica Jones serve 2 purposes. One, the 2 were as closely intertwined as 2 characters get within the comics, because I mean, they had a kid and that kind of stuff. You know, they had a daughter.
Yeah.
But the other thing is that having Luke Cage and Jessica Jones set the stage for Luke Cage. It gave us something to expect with his TV show when it comes out, which was really well done. So my question would be
What if she gets pregnant at the end of the
Thank
Luke
you
Cage
for totally
series?
destroying my idea, like what I was going to say next, Faust. Thank you.
Oh.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just messing.
Did you guys see the promo for Daredevil season 2?
Yes.
Where it just
I
the
don't
one where
watch-
it's a neon sign from in a bar window and it just flickers on. It says Luke's.
Oh no! I saw the one where it had the one from D23, I think, where it had the conclusion. I guess the end of the trailer was with the Punisher, and he just said beg. He's just like beg, and I was like, oh my god.
We're getting that welcome back Frank scene.
Dude,
All right. Oh no, go ahead. I was gonna say we're time-wise we're running long.
Yeah, we got to end the show.
Okay.
Yeah.
But another one. We gotta do
I'll
part
just-
2.
But no, what we'll do is an official spoiler cast maybe later on this week when the 3 of you are free and available to just rant about Jessica Jones and the possibility of the Netflix series.
yeah.
Okay, can I end with one question
Yeah.
for us and the audience? If they were to do a Jessica Jones season 2, where do they go? Because they've kind of done what Jessica did.
Well, they could do most
All of her
plot.
background scenes.
Well, they could do all the scenes, or they could do all the story that they cut out of Alias, that was in Alias. Like they could do her actually being a private investigator, like her going to that little suburban town and looking for the runaway girl, and like
The
you know,
runaway girl that turned out to be a mutant.
it turned out to be a mutant. She could be an inhuman or something, and then Coulson could show up or whatever. But like you could just basically, I mean, the thing that I was upset about was I read an article shortly after the show, and it was from the showrunners, and they're like, we're not sure if we're getting a season 2.
What for Jessica Jones?
Yeah,
Dude,
like,
after
there's no
I can
official
see-
word.
Well, I could see that simply because they're running off of like Daredevil's got all these different stories to run off of. Jessica Jones doesn't.
No.
She has Alias and The Pulse,
Yes.
and Alias.
But none of it was like big sellers, nor is she a known character. The fact they even did this was kind of risky.
Yeah, but
I thought Alias
But it's
was-
great and it paid off.
Yeah.
So
Payoff,
now
yeah.
what do you do?
Oh, I thought Alias wasn't a huge seller too, but then I found out how much Alias #1 is valued at, and I'm very happy.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's. I would say, I mean that is a good question. Where do you go from here? Honestly, I could say we wouldn't see a Jessica Jones season 2, of course, until the conclusion of Luke Cage season 1, and then probably after Defenders and Daredevil season 2. And so I could easily see it picking up with like a full-on relationship between Jessica Jones and Luke Cage. To be honest,
What I would take is just no season 2 and just make Jessica Jones a main character in the Luke Cage show.
that would be a good idea.
It would
I
be a
don't-
good idea, But then, if in Defenders Jessica's pregnant, I want her to have to deal with being a private detective, being beaten up, and then having a thing that's leeching off of you inside you.
All right, and on that note, let's bring this to a close. Before we do go, I did find this one, and apparently I did grab the variant issue, so check that out, Faust.
Yeah.
That's
I want
awesome.
it really badly.
It's a great story. Just wanted to show that real quick, and the whole
Nice.
concept is this 30-year-old woman trapped in the body of a 6-year-old.
Nice.
But that's it, guys. Thank you for joining us today. I know we ran a little bit longer than expected. We will eventually do an official spoiler cast, and if I haven't watched it by then these three guys will just talk for 8 hours about it. It'll be amazing and fun. And next week we'll be here for our usual weekly poll plus a Star Wars cast. So make sure you check it out, and don't forget to check out this Twitch. On most nights, go ahead and subscribe to the Twitch. You don't have to do the subscription. You can just follow it to get notifications as to when I go live playing video games here. Rob and I team up. We do additional talks like the spoiler cast or stuff like that. You'll get the notifications. Also, follow us on Twitter at The Weekly Poll, at Comicstorian, at Sal Says What, at Comics Explained, and at, I say it, Faust, I don't...
Rhythm beat stealth or whatever it is. Rhythm beat music.
Rhythm beat music.
Whatever.
Okay, there we go. I was like, I don't know his on top of my head. Follow all of us. You'll know when things go live, guys. Thank you for joining us today. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and we'll see you next time right here at The Weekly Poll.
Peace.